There is an old children's rhyme that encapsulates the true classification of colorism and how it operates. If you're black, stay back. If you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, you're mellow. And if you're white, you're alright. Having a darker skin complexion in most places is an obstacle, while lighter skin is more oftentimes than not revered. Oftentimes, wide noses and big lips are seen as an issue in the black community. Within the U.S., the epidemic of colorism has always held very sturdy roots stemming from slavery due to the fact that slave owners would more oftentimes give special treatment to slaves with a fairer skin complexion. All while darker skinned slaves labored outdoors in the fields, their fair skinned equivalents worked indoors with far less taxing domestic responsibilities. In this speech, I will be arguing the commercial use of skin bleaching within the U.S. and overseas and how it promotes a blind sense of colorism and borderline racism. Throughout history, amid diverse amount of masses of people, and in many places around the world, people have consistently been shaping an immeasurable amount of constructions that are intended to change one's own skin complexion. If you are consistent about putting these kinds of creams on your skin, the harsh chemicals will end up creating very lasting effects for you as an individual. Within European culture, whitening cream had even played a very essential role within their own society. Though researchers have typically found that in Europe at that time, certain whitening solutions once contained white lead, which typically led to symptoms of blindness and paralysis. Colorism can harvest very many real world rewards as well for fair skinned complected people. For example, fair skinned Latinos were reported to have been making $5,000 more dollars than the average darker skinned Latino. Colorism didn't just comprise of African Americans discriminating against other black people. Many career advertisements in the early 20th century have divulged that African Americans with fair skin believed that their complexion oftentimes would make them more ideal job candidates over their darker skinned counterparts. In conclusion, I hope that you're able to learn some very important little lessons within this speech. It's important to always hold yourself accountable for things that you say in your day to day life. Secondly, be able to educate yourself as well as open on topics such as these going within our own society. It can be very important for the future generations in their way of thinking and coping with certain attitudes that they approach. There are actually many other ways of thinking that can embed this form of colorist ideals within ourselves. However, the past statements I have made should be enough just to get you curious on if in the past you have taken part within such colorist behaviors. Nevertheless, it's no reason to assume that you're racist due to any commonalities that you typically find or that you will end up finding that resemble a lot of colorist way of thinking. It simply means that it's up to you to unlearn such negative behavior. And believe it or not, we have all, as U.S. citizens, played a part in this type of action.